Hey, how are you? I am Chris Robin, aka at Detroit Beastie, here with Fantasy Six Pack to talk about Sunday Night Football. The Dallas Cowboys head to New York in what has been a bitter, nasty rivalry in the NFC East. Before I get into the meat and potatoes of who I'm liking from a DFS perspective, make sure you go to the website at Fantasy Six Pack and just look around and see what program works best for you. Right? There's all-inclusive subscriptions. You can get 15% off, and go there. Go to the Discord. That's the best way to get a hold of me, Joe, or anybody else here at the website if you want full access to everything that the website has to offer, rankings, projections, and now we're covering DFS and sports betting. So let's talk about this game, shall we? As I said, the Dallas Cowboys go to New York to take on the Giants. Kickoff promptly at 8:20 p.m. We're going to get Carrie Underwood singing the Sunday Night Football theme, as we love. If I'm not mistaken, they signed her to a contract extension, if that matters much. But when we look at this one, over under is at around 45 points. And truth be told, I hate to bury the lead or shoot my wad load, however you want to put it. I do believe it's under by a few points here. So if that plays a role in what I'm doing and who I'm stacking and what I want to do here, maybe we're looking at some defenses. Maybe we're looking at the kickers, Brandon Audrey, Graham Gano. We never know. That's why we're going to stick around. And the New York Giants are getting 3.5 points. And that line has constantly been moving since early last week before Thursday Night Football. Actually, last Monday, it was at +3. It was at 3.5, which I locked in a few days ago. So to me, Dallas at the Giants, 820, over under at 45 points. Let's start with the quarterback, shall we? And we're going to go with the one and only, none other than Dak Prescott. When you look at Dak so far this season, he's done nothing. Nobody has except the Chiefs and the Lions. That was a stupid segue, but hey, here we are. Dak Prescott at New York. Right now, the Giants 20th overall against opposing quarterbacks. Again, I told you in the last video and on the Sunday morning broadcast, that is all, fluid or relative, because these two teams at least have yet to play a game. So how they tally these DVPs, I'm not too sure. When you look at Dak Prescott, 16 grand on FanDuel, $10,000 on DraftKings, $29 on Yahoo. I have Dak 21 to 22 completions, 265 to 270 yards, and I think he throws for 2 touchdowns. That might be a safe bet or a parlay. 1.5 over, 1.5 total touchdowns, a few carries, 3 or 4 carries for about 15 to 18 yards. When we go down, Daniel Jones, Danny Dimes, Dallas Cowboys right now 9th overall against opposing quarterbacks. And Daniel Jones, this time last year, everybody was saying that Daniel Jones needs to step up. Let's see what this kid can do. Finally, and Daniel Jones, he's safely planted as the the New York Giants quarterback 1 of not only this season, but moving forward. I've always been a fan of the guy. When you look at Daniel Jones, 16.5 on FanDuel, $500 more than Dak Prescott. That says a little something. That's a little nudge to you Dallas Cowboys fans. Daniel Jones, 9.4 on DraftKings, only $30 on Yahoo. Daniel Jones, 23 completions, around 230 yards. Little lighter than Dak, but we're going to get more yardage on the ground from Daniel Jones. 7-8 carries, another 40 yards. So I'm thinking Daniel Jones, you're looking at around 270, 280 on an upside total yardage here. But Daniel Jones, only one touchdown pass for me in the air. What he does on the ground, I would like to say it's a mystery, but it's not, because I 7-8 carries for about 40 yards. When we look at the running backs here, it's a complete, overhaul for Dallas this season, right? Zeke is out, Tony Pollard is in, and truth be told, a lot of us, we saw that coming the last few years, right? Dallas Cowboys, they ran Ezekiel Elliott into the ground, and he was very productive for them. Now he's gone. He's in New England, and it is the Tony Pollard show, and that's fine by me. When we look at the Giants right now, 19th overall against opposing running backs. Tony Pollard, 13.5 on FanDuel, 11 grand on DraftKings, $28 on Yahoo. Tony Pollard going to be, aside from Saquon, which I'll get to, Tony is going to be the star of the show. As I said, it's going to be an under kind of game, so why not give Tony Pollard 17 to 18 carries, 85 to 90 yards, 2, maybe 3 receptions for another 25 yards, and he will find the end zone. That's probably the safest bet you can place on this game if you're a parlay guy or just a one-off kind of girl guy, whatever. Tony Pollard will score a touchdown, easy peasy. Going down, Rico Dowdle, when we looked at him, they have a lot going on. Aside from Tony Pollard, Deuce Vaughn is also in play. It just, where do you want to put your chips, right? And what kind of contests are you playing? I know now with Fantasy Six Pack, I do numerous broadcasts with my co-host. His name is Dave, and he is a cash game artist. That's all he loves to play, where I've stuck with GPPs, multi-enter, that kind of stuff. So Deuce Vaughn very much in play. Rico very much in play. We saw Deuce with the Benny Hill theme all through the summer. All that fun stuff, because he looks so tiny on the field, but the joke is on me. He's a professional athlete, and I'm here recording this video. Deuce Vaughn, $6,000 on FanDuel, $3,000 on DraftKings, $11 on Yahoo. Rico, $5,500 on FanDuel, $1,800 on DraftKings, $10 on Yahoo. Rico, aside from Tony Pollard, I would prefer him. 6-7 carries, 30 to 35 yards, a reception or two for another 10 yards. When we look at Saquon Barkley, there's not a lot of chatter about him in the spring and the summer, which is good, because if I'm not mistaken, I know I'll get dogged in the comments. This time last year or the year before, he was a holdout. He wanted a contract. People were saying, "Good for him. You're not. You're a dummy. Play football. That's what you do. You play a kid's game." Any way you slice it, Saquon Barkley is 100%, and a Saquon who is in this shape is a dangerous Saquon Barkley into Dallas right now. 5th overall against opposing running backs, but Saquon, one of those stardom, DVP, doesn't matter. If he's on the field and he's healthy, he's going to run through a wall, make me feel like running through a wall. Saquon, 14.5 on FanDuel, $10,600 on DraftKings, only $32 on Yahoo. You're looking at 15, 16 carries, 65 to 70 yards, and I have 4 to 5 catches, receptions for another 30 yards. So you're looking at probably close to, if not 100 all-purpose yards. That's the only sneaky thing, right? I said Tony Pollard, safe bet to score a touchdown. Is Saquon a safe bet for 100+ total all-purpose yards? My notes say he'll be short a couple yards, maybe 98, 99 total, but I would put $5 on Saquon going over 100 all-purpose yards. And then after that, you're left with Eric Breida, Eric Gray, Tywan Jones. And right now, Eric Gray, the rookie, was like a hipster kind of pickup in dynasty circles. He was returning punts and kickoffs, but then Tywan Jones is going to so either way you slice it, I would prefer in a big GPP, just like a last-second fill-in, give me the rookie Eric Gray. He's only $5,000 on FanDuel, $200 on DraftKings, $10 bare minimum on Yahoo. When we look at the wide receivers, and more times than not, I said this on Thursday, I'm going to say it again now for Sunday Night Football, probably repeat this on Monday night. More times than not, in today's new age NFL, the wide receivers have swayed the position eligibility to being the stars of the show. And you got CeeDee Lamb, who is by far and away the biggest and the best wide receiver in this game. And when you look at CeeDee Lamb, the Giants 18th overall against opposing wide receiver, CeeDee Lamb, a ton of dough, $14,000 on FanDuel, $10,400 on DraftKings, $29, couldn't read my own handwriting, on Yahoo. CeeDee Lamb, 9-10 targets, 6-7 receptions, 90 yards. Does he haul in a touchdown pass? That's the only iffy part here. And given my final score, which I'll give to you at the end, it's tough sledding for me, so I'm not going one way or another. Maybe I'll make my mind up by the end of this thing. And moving down the list, Brandon Cooks is now a Cowboy. Michael Gallup is back around and healthy, and is he going to step up? There's all these narratives going on, long-term narratives, but to be honest, between you and I don't care about long-term narratives. I care about the here and now, Sunday Night Football. Brandon Cooks, always a safe bet, 7-8 targets, 4-5 receptions, 60 yards. He's 10-5 on FanDuel, 7-2 on DraftKings, only $16 on Yahoo. Michael Gallup, $8,000 on FanDuel, 5-8 on DK, $13 on Yahoo. if you wanted a complimentary wide receiver in this game, not in a cash game, but in a big GPP, if you have the stones to, I'm just going to fade CeeDee Lamb, I would prefer Michael Gallup, and maybe pairing him with Jalen Tolbert, 1-2 targets, 1-2 receptions, nothing crazy, 5 to 10 yards in that area. But what are the chances that Tolbert, returns a punt for a touchdown, or he catches a pass, his one reception of the game isn't for a touchdown, and you're left holding your hat in a big GPP if that's not on your radar. Kevontae Turpin, I think he's returning kicks, might be a good move just to look at, grease the wheels, right, in GPPs. When we look at the Giants wide receivers, they lost some guys. They brought some guys in. They drafted this kid, Jalen Hyatt, who's quick. He's like the road runner. It's great to see. Can it translate to real-time game action? Summer and spring camps can only get you so far. There's nothing to replicate real-life game action. Let's start with Jarius Slayton. $9,000 on FanDuel, $5,400 on DK, $12 on Yahoo. I have Slayton, 4-5 targets, 3-4 receptions, around 40 yards. And did I mention Dallas right now? Not good against defending opposing wide receivers. They're actually 27th out of the 32 teams that are in the NFL. And again, this time next week, all these numbers are going to be completely flipped on their head based on what happens in week 1 across the board. Moving down the list, Isaiah Hodgins, I have him highlighted. He had a great breakout kind of season, was able to stay on the field and did well. Hodgins, $11,000 on FanDuel, 6-4 on DK, only $12 on Yahoo. Paris Campbell, they brought in. Let's see what he can do. He came over from Indianapolis, finally stayed healthy, and what did he do? He said, "See ya, Colts. I'm going to go over and play for the Giants." Who would blame him, right? $10,000 on FanDuel, 4-4 on DK, $12 on Yahoo. Paris Campbell, 5-6 targets, 3-4 receptions. Very underwhelming performance for Campbell, in my eyes, at least tonight. 35, maybe 40 yards, and that's about it. I have highlighted the rookie Jalen Hyatt, $7,000 on FanDuel, 4-6 on DK, $14 on Yahoo. And when you look at it, it's not a ton of usage. But again, with a speedster like that, all it takes is one, right? But I do have Hyatt, 2 to 3 targets, 1 to 2 receptions, 15 to 20 yards, or what if one of those catches is a 35 to 40 yard touchdown? Can't account for that in my notes. I would be, I don't know, what would you call that? I would have a crystal ball in a way. And again, it's week 1, so I put the Ouija board is away for now. Maybe we'll bring it out for week 2. Sterling Shepard, questionable tag. We hope we'll see him tonight. So to be fair, both the Giants and Dallas have, some respectable wide receivers. It's just about, as I said, moving those chips around and figuring out the right combinations. And as I said, CeeDee Lamb is a must-have tonight. Isaiah Hodgins with Jalen Hyatt. Those would be the 3 wide receivers I'd use tonight in a single game slate, single entry, the $1 or the $5 GPP. Wan'Dale Robinson also, again, we don't know what we're going to get, but Wan'Dale Robinson right now, questionable tag. By the time this video is out or during the course of this recording, could be out already. He was already kind of iffy. So let's go down to the tight ends. We're coming up at 13 minutes. I know every flipping video I said, I'd like to tone it down just a minute or two. Thursday night's video was 20 minutes. We're at 13. Chris stopped talking about nonsense. And let's talk about Jake Ferguson or Peyton Hendershot. Jake Ferguson, $8,000 on FanDuel, 4-8 on DK, $10 on Yahoo. Dalton Schultz is now a Houston Rocket, a Houston Astro, Houston Texan, excuse me. So now it's Jake Ferguson's show. Is it Peyton Hendershot's show? Any way you slice it, the Giants 28th overall against opposing tight ends, and Dak Prescott. They use that tight end position very well. It's almost like an extension of a wide receiver if the player at the position is worth the risk. And to me, Jake Ferguson, it's like let's give it a shot. What do we have to lose given his price tag? 4 to 5 targets, 3 to 4 receptions, around 35 to 40 yards. Peyton, a little bit less, 1 to 2 targets, 1 to 2 receptions, 5 to 10 yards. But again, Sunday Night Football, Dallas and the Giants, it's going to be one of those weird things that normally these feelings come and go later on in the season, but we know there's going to be, maybe it is tonight where one of these guys like Peyton Hendershot catches one pass for 8 yards and it's a touchdown in a game where there's limited points, where there's only 3 or 4 total touchdowns scored. So again, you'll be left out holding your hat going, I didn't have Peyton Hendershot in my lineups because he scored. Just be aware of that. I'm not saying risk the house on Peyton scoring. When we go down to the Giants tight ends, their big free agent acquisition, Darren Waller, he's questionable. Regardless, I think he plays. Dallas right now, good, third overall against opposing tight ends. But I look at Darren Waller at tight end as you do Saquon Barkley or Derrick Henry at running back. It doesn't matter. If he's on the field, it's too juicy. You don't want to be left out. That FOMO, they call it, fear of missing out. So no FOMO with Darren Waller today. $12,000 on FanDuel, 8-4 on DraftKings, $16 on Yahoo, 7-8 targets, 5-6 receptions, 55 to 60 yards. And is he one to find the end zone? Again, an under in this game for me personally. So I'm a little less, I'm toning it down with just handing out touchdowns left. You get a touchdown, you get a touchdown. They're going to be in limited supply on Sunday Night Football. So plan accordingly. Daniel Bellinger, Lawrence Cager, came up a little bit as last season as the Giants wide receiver core was just completely decimated here and there. They're also in play, and both of them, Belly and Cager, 400 on DraftKings, Cager 200 on DraftKings, nothing crazy. When we look at the DSTs in this one, now we're talking. And again, it's the second primetime game of the season. Thursday was the first one. Now we're Sunday Night Football in a low-scoring game. Which defense are you going to want? Which defense do you think will have the most oomph, the most moxie? And personally, without question, it's the Dallas Cowboys. Micah Parsons has moved over to defensive end. He's gained some meat. He's gained some pounds. So to me, the Cowboys, 9-5 on FanDuel, 5-2 on DraftKings, only $20 on Yahoo. Dallas Cowboys, 3, maybe 4 sacks, an interception, a fumble recovery, just the trifecta of beautiful DFS points for Dallas Cowboys here on Sunday Night Football. The Giants, not that far behind, right? And again, in a lowing score, I can't say it enough, in an under game, the Giants are also in play, 8-5 on FanDuel, 3-4 on DK, couple sacks, at least an interception. Dak has been making mistakes. Now Trey Lance is kind of breathing in his neck, and again, I could go rewind the video and go all the way to the top. And do we see anything from Trey Lance? Do they have a package for him where he gets in on a drive in a game? I don't know. This one is going to be fun. It's going to be underwhelming in my book, but hey, it is what it is. When we look at the final score, as I said, over under 45 total points, I have the Dallas Cowboys to win this one in New York 20-17. So there you go. When you add that up, that's 37 total points. That's well under the 45, the point total that they have out. So if you wanted to tease that realistically to 40, I think we could get away with it, and it would probably be plus money. So if you could tease this line down to under 40 and put $5 on it, let's see what we get. So that's what I got for you Sunday Night Football. Enjoy it all. Enjoy Carrie Underwood's new song at the beginning, and we are rolling here at Fantasy Six Pack. I said it Sunday morning live in the video, but thank you to you for everybody who watches the videos, who reads my articles. Without you, none of this is really possible. Without you, why would I bother doing this on a day-to-day basis with a pen and a paper and a microphone? So again, thank you for following me. Wherever I go, you seem to follow. So I love you for that. I thank you. The Dallas Cowboys win this one 20-17, and let's do this all over again on Monday, tomorrow, and how many other times this season. Woohoo. Talk to you later. Bye.